Gentlemen, today I got a great one for you. I'm going to show you exactly how I get over 10,000 grams of protein for $36. I'm going to show you exactly the meal prep that I take that protein through to make a delicious, obviously affordable, very good, high quality meal. Now, 10,000 grams of protein in the form of 100 pounds of some of the cleanest meat you can get. But before I show you that, I got to finish what I'm doing. Might as well just watch me, because this ties very well into what today is all about, what I'm talking about. Now, before we get to the meal prep, make sure you stick around to the end, because this meal prep is crazy. You can eat it cold, you can eat it warm, you can eat it for lunches. It's easy to make. Now, you're probably asking yourself, how does a kid who's still in high school secure 100 pounds of clean meat for $36? Now, I'm going to tell you exactly how I do that. But before I tell you that, not only do you get this protein, you also get to experience one of the best things as humans we can do. Now, that experience, of course, is hunting. If the bow didn't give it away, I don't know what else to do. So, of course, it's hunting. Now, I'm talking about deer hunting. I'm from Minnesota, and deer hunting is culture around here. You don't deer hunt, you're kind of weird. Unless you live in the cities, and it's a little bit different. But anyways, up here, that's kind of how it is. Deer meat and elk meat and wild game meat is some of the cleanest, most healthy meat. And honestly, pound for pound, packs some of the most protein and the lowest amount of calories, if that's what you're into. So it works great for me, because as many of you know, I love lifting. I love fitness. That's been my thing recently. But the problem comes when I want to eat steak. Like, of course I can't eat steak every day. I'm still in high school. I don't make that kind of money yet. So the next best thing, and honestly the better thing, is wild game. Because deer meat's a red meat. You can cook it rare, like you would a steak, or however you want to cook your steak. And it tastes just like a steak, but without all that extra fat. And it's extremely cheap. A tag around here, now the $36 comes from the tag. And when you first start hunting, you're going to need more than just $36, because you're going to have to get some gear. And you're not guaranteed to shoot a deer, but if you do things right, you can probably get at least, a big doe. And once you get down to a science, yeah, it's like $36, $40 a year. And if you shoot a big enough deer, you can get up to 100 pounds of meat. Not to mention how fun it is. I think hunting is it's my favorite hobby by far. And I think hunting is something everybody should try. It's a great experience. It's awesome. And you get all this meat. Now, stay tuned for a future video, because deer season, there's a season. You can't just go out and hunt a deer. I mean, you could, but it's not legal, and don't do that. So deer season's coming. And for us, it starts in September for archery, but me and my buddy, we rifle hunt together, which is in November. Stay tuned for that, because I'm going to have a whole deer camp episode. I'm going to show you how to process your deer, how to hunt your deer, how to make like sausage and sticks out of your deer. I'm going to show you how to do all that, because we're going to do that this year, and it's awesome. That meat, if you do it right and you hunt enough, it can feed you through the whole year. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Now, I could talk forever about hunting, and I have more videos coming at you soon about hunting, but it ties into everything. There are many things with hunting that translate over to real life, translate over to lifting, business, however you want to package it up. You can become a good hunter. You can probably become good at a lot of different things. So now that I've kind of yapped your ear off, I'm going to show you exactly how to take this deer meat, which honestly, if you don't know how to cook it, you can screw up deer meat. It doesn't matter if you get this deer meat for $1. If you don't cook it right, you're not going to want it, because it's going to taste like crap. So I'm going to show you exactly how to cook it where it tastes even better than something like steak meal prep. And it's going to be extremely macro friendly. I'm not a huge proponent of tracking macros, but proteins, clean foods, those are all important. I like to make sure I know what I'm eating. I'm going to show you exactly how to make it. You can, if you do enough, you can batch it where you could make a couple weeks worth of meal prep and just freeze some of it. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. All right, now we're in the kitchen. So step one of the process, cook your rice. I just have some great value long grain. This channel isn't here for me to tell you how to cook rice. If you want to do that and look at, I don't know. There's probably thousands on YouTube. Figure it out. Most of you should already know how to do that. But basically, we're going to cook. We're going to go with 2 cups of uncooked rice and 4 cups of water. That's the ratio we're going to go with. So once you get that cooked, the next step is going to be the meat. All right, so we got that water boiling, 2 cups of rice right here. Not ready, but while you're waiting for that, you got to get yourself some of the finest, like we talked about earlier, meat. Stay tuned for a later video this deer season where I'm going to show you exactly how to take a whole deer that you've harvested in the woods, break it down, and how to get an effective, get all the meat out of it, grind it, whatever you want to do with it. Stay tuned for that. But right here we got about 3 pounds and we have about 2 cups of rice. So we are going to make 8 different servings. So we're talking about 6 ounces of venison per serving and then a 1/4 cup dry rice per serving, which is just on the back of the rice bag. It's usually measured in 1/4 cups. So now you need to brown your venison while you wait for this to boil. Obviously, once that boils, mix the rice in there. Bada boom, bada bang. That's just all it is. So the thing with venison you have to keep in mind, which is what deer meat is called if you didn't know, is it's very lean, like extremely lean. Like probably in terms of ground beef, it's probably like 97.3, if not higher. Venison is extremely lean. So you can hear it start to sizzle over here. The thing you have to keep in mind with it being so lean, it dries out. It's very dry by itself. So that's why, like, if you were to make venison burgers by themselves, just ground venison, the texture is going to be kind of weird because they are so lean. So with that being said, you need to season your food. Now, I'm not going to measure everything out. I've never done that for my recipes. It's just a kind of by feel. If it looks good and it smells good, it's probably going to taste good. So the seasonings that we are rocking with, though, is we got garlic, we got garlic and onion powder, we got pink Himalayan salt, and black pepper. Keep it simple. That's all you need. These 4 seasonings, if used correctly, can turn a 3 out of 10 dish into a 9 out of 10 dish. You just got to know how to do it. And honestly, there's no science to it. You just kind of mix them in until you think it's right. Also, on top of that, because the venison is so lean, we are going to add about a 1/2 cup to a cup of water. It depends on how lean you get. Obviously, every time you harvest a deer, different specs. Sometimes meat's a little bit leaner. Deer fat doesn't taste very good. But inevitably, some ends up in the grinding process. So we're going to add a little bit of water just to make sure we got some moisture cooking. All right, venison's ripping away. We got the rice. Oh, yeah. So once everything is cooked, which we're not quite at that point yet, but I want to talk about this now. With the seasoning, again, it's very intuitive. So don't go too crazy in the beginning. You can always add more. You cannot take it out. So I did about 5 spoonfuls of the garlic. I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 dashes, big dash of the onion, a little shake with the salt. Probably got a couple scoops of salt and then a couple dashes of the black pepper. Nothing too crazy. Once it's brown, make sure it's brown because with wild game and it being ground, you've got to make sure you cook it good. If it's like a steak, you can cook it medium rare with deer, but not ground meat. Make sure it's brown. Then taste it. Try it. See how it tastes. If you think it needs more, and the rice is boiling over, so let's fix that. All right, good to go. So once you've tested it, if it needs more, add more, obviously. Taste it, see how you go. If you don't need more, then don't add more. It's that simple. All right, venison's nice and brown. We're going to take a little scoop here. Be careful. This just came out. Yes, look at that. Perfect. Nice and brown. That's pretty good. I think seasoning's on point. I might add a little bit more because I'm a guy who likes my food seasoned very heavily, but it's pretty close. That's pretty good. Make sure you add the water. If you forget to add the water, it's going to taste like crap. The water honestly makes or breaks your kind of whole dish. Now this is not optional, but I know you guys don't have it because we just aren't operating on the same level quite yet. Don't worry, you guys will get there. This was me and my grandma, great-grandma. We canned tomatoes every single year. Secret recipe. I don't plan on giving that away. Diced tomatoes from the store will do it. It's still going to taste really good, but just that little bit of extra from fresh canned tomatoes with me and my grandma, no store quality compares. So you need that. The tomato, the rice, the meat, all the seasonings are going to combine together. It might not look super appetizing. It's going to kind of look like a mash, but oh, dude, so good. So once the meat is cooked and the rice is cooked, we're going to combine them. We're going to stir it together. And we're going to add our tomato. All right. Now we're at the point where everything's cooked. I got my meat in the bowl. You can see the steam. I'll show you in just a second, but you gotta wait. You gotta wait to see the masterpiece. So what you want to do is you want to get you a big old bowl. This bowl's got to be big because we're gonna have 48 ounces of venison and 6 cups of rice. So it's got to be a big old bowl. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna mix it. We're gonna mix it well, and we're gonna add the tomato to taste. So technically I said 8, if you are counting it out, it's going to be a little bit less than that because we're obviously eating some right now. We're tasting. We're making sure everything is secured. But honestly, that's kind of it. But you don't want to screw this part up. You want to make sure it's good. And honestly, this part's pretty individual. It's about what you want. You might not like as many tomatoes as maybe I do. So I'm going to show you exactly how I go about doing that. All right. Angle's pretty decent. You're able to see the good old bowl of food. So we got the meat in there. We're going to take all of our rice and we're just going to dump it in there. Make sure you get the good kind of rice. This rice is not my favorite, but it's all we had. And I'm not running to the store right now. But make sure you get the good rice. Make sure you cook it right again. I'm not a professional rice cooker. Go find somebody else who is, but you don't want to screw this up because crunchy rice, it tastes like trash. So there we go. Now we are gonna mix it all up. Come on now, look at that. This just looks absolutely delicious. I wish you could smell this through the camera, but if you take my advice, you go get yourself a big old deer this year and you cook this, you'll be able to smell how wonderful this smells. If I smell this in a restaurant, 5-star review instantly. So what we're going to do is we got our rice, we got our meat, we're going to dump tomatoes in. This is just a little bit left we had in the fridge. Let's use that first. I would say these are quart jars. I would say for this amount, I would say at least a half a quart of tomatoes, but it's kind of like it's got chunks in there, I don't know. We'll go with that. Let's see how that looks. Honestly, you can do this with chicken too. I made the same recipe with chicken breast. All I did was I put it in the crock pot while I was at work. I came back and I mixed it up just like this. I didn't do as much, but you can just hear that. I can hear the gains and the delicious flavors all combining. I can hear my muscles getting bigger. They're talking to me, This is exactly, you eat this every day, it's pretty much impossible to not get into shape, I'll tell you what. So that, we're going to give it a taste now. Be careful, this shit is still hot. Yep, that's pretty good. I'm going to go with a few more tomatoes. I do like a heavy tomato taste in here. I would say total we've used just under a quart of tomatoes for this. Yeah, and again, it's to taste, and it's pretty much however you want to do this. Now, after this step, after you got it tasting right, you got it looking right, what you're going to do is you're going to let this cool for an hour or two. I don't have glass Tupperware. I probably should get it. Microplastics, we all know how bad those are. I haven't kind of gotten away from the Tupperware. But especially if it's plastic, you want to let this cool, because if you don't, what's going to happen is it's going to like melt into the Tupperware while it cools in the fridge. We don't want that. So we're going to let this sit. I'm going to put it in the microwave so no bugs get on it or anything, because we don't want bugs, extra protein, but I'm not that desperate for protein. And I'm going to let this cool for about 2 hours. And that's all you got to do. Now, when it cools, a little flex right there. When it cools, we're going to put it into 8 separate Tupperware dishes, or you can put it in one and just eat it in 8 separate servings. That's what it makes. That's kind of what I'm counting for. But if you're a real dog, you'd eat this all in one go, 3 pounds of meat, 6 cups of rice, nothing to it, right? And some tomatoes. So that's it. If you were to eat this every single day, recipes like this, you would get shredded. You would get muscular, you would get stronger. It's just time and consistency. And this is delicious. I know it doesn't look good. It kind of looks like dog food. We're not necessarily going for aesthetics on this one because we need something that works. This is what I'm going to bring to me with school, maybe work, depending on when I work. That is what I'm going to bring to me for lunch. So I'm not eating fast food, school. I don't want to eat that crap. Get out of here. I want to eat something like this. I don't know the macros on it. Again, I'm not a huge macro tracker. But I imagine for what you got right there, it's probably 40, 50 grams of protein, probably whatever serving of rice is for carbs, and tomatoes add a little bit of energy, but they're pretty water heavy. So yeah, that's it. If you guys did enjoy this video, you know what to do. You got to go subscribe because you don't want to miss more, right? There's more coming for sure, more on this topic. If you guys want to know more about hunting, which regardless of whether you do or not, more hunting videos are coming because deer season opens in about a couple weeks. But with that being said, that's where I'm going to end it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one. Peace.